Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening. I'm glad you guys are here, and we are back on Pauline Theology's Daily Devo as we continue to study in Ruth. Man, it is awesome that you guys are here. Excited to have you and glad that we're going over this together because Ruth is a bomb book, man, and we get to see God do so much stuff in here. We get to see people act righteous, live good in a time that is quite really a very bad time in the history of the Israelite people. But we get to see some good stuff in this, man. So I'm glad you're back as we continue this study. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off and read Ruth chapter 2, verses 14 through 16. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come here, that you may eat of the bread and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar." So she sat beside the reapers, and he served her roasted grain. And she ate and was satisfied and had some left. When she rose to glean, Boaz commanded his servants, saying, "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not insult her. Also you shall purposely pull out for her some grain from the bundles and leave it, and she may glean, and do not rebuke her." So Boaz is really helping her out, man. He is doing what he can to show favor to this woman who has been doing a wonderful job as taking care of her and her mother-in-law. So he's showing favor to her, telling the servants to hook her up and allow her to get not just the gleanings from the outside, but actually the grain that he would bring into his house, to his storehouses. He's allowing her to get. And he says, and nobody say nothing bad about her, man. Putting her under his protection. See, that's dope. That is awesome. Boaz is doing a great thing because he sees someone who needs help. The foreigner and the widow. He's doing what God has called him to do, what the scriptures talk about, what the scriptures teach. He's living that out. So what does this say about God? Well, it says that God is taking care of his people. He protects his people. So I missed an important thing yesterday when I was talking about Boaz and his relationship with Ruth. I missed an important thing. It says, Boaz says this, "May the Lord reward your work and your wages be full from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to seek refuge." So right there, we already realized that first that Ruth has stuck with Naomi again because she transferred her faith. And so now she is seeking refuge, not just with Naomi, but the God of Israel. And Boaz recognizes that. But now Boaz is putting that recognition of her to work by being what God has called him to be, what the law has been put before us for. So God has called us to be images of him on this earth, a representation of who he is. And so Boaz is doing that. He is caring for the widow. He is caring for the poor. He is allowing her to get of the grains in his field because she is a widow and her mother is a widow, and they're in a desperate and difficult situation. So God is displaying himself in his sovereignty over Ruth in this time, Ruth and Naomi. He's taking care of them. What's to say about man? Well, I think this is a very beautiful picture of the image of God that is in man. When God gave us his image, that he created us in his image was that we could be a representation of who he is to this world. And Boaz is doing that. Boaz, again, like I said, is taking care of the widow, taking care of the poor, taking care of the disenfranchised, taking care of the foreigner. He is doing that. That is what God desires in our heart. That's what it means to love your neighbor as yourself. And Boaz is doing that. So it says about man is our image of God that we have. That we should be displaying that in the actions that we do to others in this world. And then finally, how am I supposed to apply this to my life? Well, I need to act as God would act in this world. When I see people, I should see the image of God within them, but then I should act towards them as God would act. Without partiality, but with kindness, grace, because that's what Boaz is showing, is grace, a favor to this woman. And so I should be acting in grace towards others as I live this life. Man, hey, this was a short one today, but it's all good, man. I'm glad that we got to go through it because there's some important, deep truths that we found in this, that God is sovereign over everything, that we are his images, and we should display this to the world. So let's be the images of God, guys. Let's go out and live a life that would honor God's name by representing him the way that he desires to be represented. That's what it means to bear the name of Christ. So let's not take it in vain. I hope you guys have found you a good application to do. And if you don't find one, just take mine, man. Be an image bearer. Yeah. Treat people like God would want them to be treated. So I thank you guys for checking it out, and I will see you tomorrow as we continue our study in Ruth.